What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to Fireside Rangers. I'm your host, Eric Wilson. Today, joined by my co-host, Colin Alcaves. Today, we have a handful of things to talk about, specifically Will Cuylle. But, Colin, stand by for a minute. I have something to show you.
Oh, no.
I came prepared. Are you ready?
No.
Before we talk about Will Cuylle, we need to talk about that beatdown last week when my Tigers beat your Tigers. What's up with that?
I knew that was coming. I was afraid.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good team. We don't all get to spend $18 million in the transfer portal. It happens.
It happens. But point is, we talked about it a few episodes ago, bringing it back full circle. LSU beat Clemson. Hold that, Colin.
Yeah.
I have to do that. I'm sorry.
It's all right. I'll be there next year, too, when we play in LSU together.
I'll try to come with you. But anyways, sorry, I had to do that real quick. It is college football game day, so had to bring it up real quick. Back to Will Cuylle. We're going to be breaking down what we think his upcoming season is going to look like, how he might perform. So we're going to jump right onto that. But before we do, make sure you guys like, subscribe, ring that bell so you don't miss notification. Be sure to leave your thoughts and predictions down in the comment section below. And be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms at Fireside Rangers. But Colin, we'll move along from the past. How are you doing today? How are you doing now?
I'm good. Every day that we get closer to hockey season is a better day. I'm hearing a lot more chatter. My hockey friends are asking me to do fantasy drafts pretty soon coming up. So I'm just getting giddy with excitement. We are right around the corner. And now the news of there being an 84-game season next season, it starts even earlier in late September. It just keeps getting better and better. And with the cap going up, too, they sort of projected a cap of like 102 or 104. I forget the exact numbers. I didn't really read into it too deep just yet. But a lot of news coming out about the future and also just what's happening right now. And it's a very exciting time.
I will say, you mentioned fantasy hockey. If you have the first overall draft pick in your fantasy hockey league, make sure you pick Euro Vakanainen, number one, trust, breakout candidate of the year.
Will would agree.
Believe me. Mm-hmm. But speaking of Will, not the Will that is too busy working to be here, let's talk about Will Cuylle. A cool Will, right? We look at how I mentioned breakout candidate earlier. I'm going to bring it back up. Will Cuylle might be a breakout candidate. And you might be thinking in your head, but Eric, he already broke out last year. He put up like a bunch of points last year. Well, let me tell you, he's going to put up more this season, and here's why. He's got a full 82-game slate coming up playing with Mika Zibanejad and JT Miller, most likely. I'm assuming Coach Sullivan is not going to change that up. And I think that line has the potential to do some amazing things. Mika Zibanejad, we talked about him a few episodes ago. I think we're all in agreement. He's going to have a bounce back year. JT Miller is going to be on everybody, bringing the best out of them, while he is also most likely going to put up an 80 or 90-point season. I think Cuyle's points are going to surge even higher. Don't be surprised if that happens. I'm seeing a second breakout coming. That's my bold prediction. And I don't even think that's bold. I feel like that's just the general consensus. Will Cuylle might be the most underrated player, not only on the Rangers, but in like the entire NHL. I have very high expectations, but Colin, as far as I'm aware, you have the stats pulled up. Break them down for me. Give me some of your predictions. I'm excited to hear it.
I'll say, you mentioned a bunch of points last season. You're right. 20 goals, 25 assists, 45 points in a full 82-game season. Split between a bunch of different lines. He was on the third line. He was on the second line. So, he was moved around quite a bit. And none of it was on the power play. He didn't really have he had 2 power play goals, 2 shorthanded goals, and 3 game-winning goals. His shooting percentage was a career high, but his shots were also a career high, so I'll take that. Just a really good season. He was a plus 12 on a team where pretty much everybody was minus. So that's a bonus. And I think when you saw that line being constructed of Miller, Mika, and Cuylle, I think that you saw all 3 players kind of take another step in their game. And it definitely helps. I think it helps all 3. One, because Miller is a skill guy who's also a little bit of a bruiser. Mika's strictly skill. And Cuylle is also just an absolute bruiser. I'm pretty sure he was second in hits last year behind only Kiefer Sherwood. He's not afraid to throw the body around. 301 hits last year. Crazy. Especially for his third year in the league. His second full season, because his first season he only played 4 games. So second full season, he's already chucking the body like that with zero remorse. It's awesome to see, and really, usually you see in their sophomore season, you see them take a step back. He actually took a step forward and more than doubled his points. And I remember early in the season, he had already passed his goals. I was like, what is going on? Who is this guy? So definitely a welcome thought to have him, take another step this season. There's no reason why he can't. Playing along two skilled players who tended to work very well after the trade deadline. I think that you're only going to see his points climb as well. I think you could see him get anywhere from that. I think he breaks the 50 this season. I know it's not a whole lot higher. I think he goes anywhere from that 60 to 70 range would be ideal, especially if Miller's going to continue playing as well as he is. And Mika takes that next step playing on that line. I think having these two guys around him gives him a little bit of comfortability. And they definitely, they seem to have a little bit of chemistry last year. And now he has two guys who can also protect him. So I think that it's a match made in heaven. I think that assuming, they can jive with Sullivan's new system, I think that line has so much potential. And I think that the roof for Cuylle it's incredibly high. And there's not a whole lot that can slow him down if he continues at this pace of progression.
I'll hop in and say, you said ideal range would be 60 to 70. I'm kind of in the same ballpark in my brain where my prediction and expectations might be, but I think I'm more towards the 70 side, if anything. I mean, just going back to what we said throughout the last couple episodes, we haven't made an episode directly talking about JT Miller, but him and his expectations have come up quite a bit as we've talked about Zibanejad and some of the other players on the team. I probably predict JT Miller is going to have 80, 90, maybe even 100-point season. Zibanejad, we've talked about bouncing back to maybe an 80-point season, at least point per game, hopefully, as long as he gets back on track. And I think it's kind of difficult to not be in a similar range when the two guys on your line are also putting up those points. Even if you're not the one that is scoring the goals directly, you're going to be picking up assists. And I understand Cuylle probably not going to get any power play time, so we're not going to score there. But 5v5, I see those points going up. Hopefully he's scoring more goals. We said he scored 20 last season. As he gets older, his skills develop more, and hopefully his shots keep going up too when it has a better shooting percentage. Those goals will hopefully go up. Maybe 25 goals, I think, would be a nice range. I think the abundance of his points is going to be the assists that come from Mika and JT Miller. And, some might say, oh, he's just feeding off of the success of the other players. I don't really think of it that way. When you look at Cuyle's play style, what he contributes, even though he's going to be getting more points, I don't really look for his point production when I see what makes him a successful player. I look at his physicality, the way he skates back and plays defense as well. He's just a very good all-around player. And honestly,
the killing too is very good.
I think, honestly, if Cuylle does explode and have an incredible season, we might even be talking about him a few months from now in Selke talks. I could see it. I don't know. That might be my crazy take.
That is quite the crazy take. It depends on. He'd have to get better in both. He's already pretty good defensively. He'd have to get a little bit better because the guys who are winning that stuff are like locked down.
Maybe not this season, but maybe a few years from now, if he continues down this path of playing great defense while also producing offense, I could see it.
Fair enough.
I don't know. If anyone were to go to the comments right now and tell me I'm crazy for that, I would not argue back. I'd be like, yeah, I get it. That's just my crazy take. I had to insert a crazy take at some point because my first bold take wasn't even really that bold.
It's been too long.
I got to say something controversial. Will isn't here to do his parlays, so we don't have. I guess I did say to take Eurovakinainen at number 1, but that's valid. He's going to perform better than McDavid this year.
Easily.
Clip that, chat. Clip that. But I think we're in agreement. We are going to see an increase in production from Cuylle, both offensively, defensively. We'll see how it goes. I'm really excited to see him play this season. I think out of everyone on the Rangers roster, he might be my number 1 most anticipated player to watch play. I'm really excited to see what he does this season. We know what Panarin's going to do. We know what Igor's going to do. I'm really curious to see how Cuyle's going to play. Is he going to continue to increase his production, or maybe we'll see a little bit of a step back? I don't know. But It is September. This is our first video in September where we can officially say Rangers hockey is back this month. Even if it's preseason, it still counts. We'll take it. We'll take anything at this point. But that about wraps up today's episode of Fireside Rangers. If you guys did enjoy, be sure to like, subscribe, ring that bell so you don't miss notification. Be sure to leave your thoughts down in that comment section below. And be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms at Fireside Rangers. And go Tigers. And most importantly, go
Rangers.
Or let's go Rangers. I botched it.
Yeah. Threw me for a loop.
Oh, well. Let's go Rangers.